Everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas reppin' 52 of the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis.
As always, I'm going to have Brendan reppin' 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a great episode for you guys today. Even though the WNBA season has come to an end, we do have a little bit of cleanup news still. We're also going to talk NBA as their regular season has kicked off, and MLB as they enter the World Series, and then college football, and as of course, we will end with the NFL. So let's just jump right in. A little bit of cleanup news for the WNBA. This time of year, obviously, some head coaches have been fired. Obviously, we know that Chicago Sky fired their head coach. The New York Liberty fired their head coach, Sandy Brondello. Keep that name in mind. It's going to come back up in a moment. And the Dallas Wings, fired their head coach, Chris Conclanes, after 1 year. I was pretty critical of him this season. I thought the way he coached, his methods, his ability to do so were not great. And there were a lot of struggles this year that nobody really expected, even though they had the number 1 overall pick. Really thought he would utilize Paige a little bit better than he did. And so this doesn't really come as a surprise. I mentioned Sandy Brondello. She was just named the new expansion team's head coach, the Toronto Tempo, as they will kick off their first season next year. They are potentially making changes to the expansion draft. They're hoping all of that will be ironed out in the new collective agreement. They're hoping to have that done by the 31st. So don't think we'll have more info by our next podcast, but we shall see. Everyone says they're getting close, but that can always be iffy on what close actually means. But congratulations to her. I didn't think that was coming from the Liberty. They had a good season. They did well in the playoffs, but they haven't quite taken that next step. So yeah, congratulations to her. Congratulations to Toronto. I'm excited to see what they do next year. We will keep our eyes on the WNBA.
Nice. Prior to the podcast, I read your notes and saw Toronto Tempo and went, never heard of them. Are they an expansion team? So that answers the question.
They are indeed. They are indeed.
I had that thought. I was like, I've never heard of them. So are they an expansion? Awesome. Glad the WNBA continues to expand. Obviously, had the Valkyries this year and then are getting Toronto next.
It's a weird double-edged sword. You know, a lot of players or fans want to be able to just expand the rosters per team or want added benefits and amenities, but a league needs money to do that. And the only way you get money is by having more teams and more cities and more fans. So I think it's exciting. I'm excited for the Toronto to get a team. And I think it's only good things for the league. While it might not be how you'd prefer they grow, growth is still growth.
And Toronto is a fantastic sports city.
Yes.
They support all their teams very well. So
yeah,
I don't expect anything to change there.
They're going to come up again. They had a full parade shutdown a few days ago. So
we'll talk about them.
We will. Well, then we will move on from the WNBA into the NBA, who kicked off their season last week, I believe. This week?
It was yesterday. Was the first official game.
Damn.
So they kicked off.
Now what's going on?
They obviously started season with the Oklahoma City Thunder doing the banner raising, all the fun stuff for winning the championship. So they were the first game of the season. They played the Houston Rockets at home. This game went to double overtime. The Thunder did win, 125-124. So pretty great game to start the season.
I wish I'd watched it.
I watched the 2 overtimes, and that was it. So I went to overtime and was like, all right, we'll do it.
Check into that.
So yeah, fantastic first game. Just the two overtimes were great. So I imagine it was relatively the same in the regulation quarters. So that's awesome. And then the second game I didn't end up watching was the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. Golden State won 119 to 109. LeBron is not starting the season. He I think is supposed to be out like 4 weeks. With sciatica. Um, Not really sure. It was kind of one of those
Okay.
things that just came out, and nothing much was said about it. It just kind of happened. So, Lakers will be without him. I thought Luka played really well. I do think it's going to be difficult for this Lakers team to do well without LeBron. Um, just kind of the unfortunate thing of how this team's set up.
I do
He's very
not
important.
think they did enough in the offseason
Yeah.
to build around Luca rather than
Like
Luca and LeBron. And I understand that LeBron's current salary makes that difficult. Um,
when
but
the Lakers lose and Luka put up 43 points, there's a problem.
yeah, like probably had some wiggle room we could have attempted that we didn't see
So,
this off season.
not great. But not a fan of Lakers, so I don't really care. I kind of want them to be bad. Just a just as a Nuggets fan, kind of makes me happy.
Yeah, like the Nuggets, but there is an element of rooting for Luca that I've got going on here.
Gotcha. That's fair.
You know, because yeah, fuck the Lakers, right? But also he deserved better. So
And I don't disagree with that. I don't
there's
disagree.
just an element of that. But I do agree. Like I don't really care about the Lakers as a whole, but I do care about Luca.
Fair enough. And then, just because I mentioned the Nuggets, I am a Nuggets fan. Made that pretty clear. Um, so we do have a mild bit of Nuggets news. The rookie for the 20, what draft class was it? NBA does a weird thing where you have a certain. It's like when in the NFL you have a certain time where you can have the fifth year option. It's the same thing, but it's to extend your rookies. They can't sign an extension after that. They immediately go to free agency the year following. So when they have 1 year left on the rookie deal, they then play that year out and then go to free agency. You can only re-sign them the year prior to their deal ending. It's really weird, really dumb, but it is the thing with the NBA. So the Nuggets re-signed Christian Braun to a 5-year, $125 million rookie contract extension. Um, I think this is a pretty good move for the Nuggets. Obviously, 25 million per year is quite a bit of money. Um, in terms of the NBA, it's not when the top end of the market is getting paid 50 and above.
Yeah.
25 is not too bad. It kind of puts him in the middle of the pack for his position. I think it puts him at 13th highest paid at his position, which I think is perfectly acceptable. Young, has really good chemistry with Jokic, and just fits the Nuggets. And truthfully, he's one of the few guys they've drafted in the past couple seasons that have actually worked. So, yeah, everything kind of
There you
pointed
go.
to this deal happening. So, they got it done. Really happy about that. I think the price point is perfectly fine. It can be an overpay slightly, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. When you need to keep guys around, the NBA, it's kind of easier to overpay than underpay. So it is what it is.
Valid.
Um, but that's pretty much it for basketball news. Obviously, with the season starting, we'll talk a lot more about it with just whatever news pops up. Um, it'll be similar to hockey, where it will not be a weekly occurrence.
Yeah, it's not likely.
Unless things happen every week. That is noteworthy.
It's so many games. So many. And only about a third of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck to the Nuggets. Hopefully, a better ending to their season than they've had the last couple years. But
Should be.
we will continue to keep an eye on it, and of course, we will continue to watch basketball.
Yeah.
I will start. I don't know what I thought was going on that I didn't know that was happening. So I'm gonna get on that. I did watch hockey yesterday. I was watching sports, just not that one.
That's fair. I also pretty much was watching hockey, but I knew it was happening. So I
Yeah, no,
had it.
I
The
completely
dual
feel like you could have
screens.
sent a text.
The, the dual screen does come in handy for stuff like that. Yeah.
Great. Well, then we will move on to the MLB as they wrapped up their conference series this past week
Yep.
and are headed to the World Series.
Yes, they are. So we'll start in the National League because that one was pretty boring, if I'm being honest with you. The last we talked, the Dodgers had a 2-0 series lead heading back to Los Angeles. They won the series 4-0. They got out the brooms, completed the sweep.
Yep.
It was pretty much they demolished the Brewers. It was unfortunate. The Brewers were the best team in baseball for pretty much the whole year. But the Dodgers are the Dodgers, and
Yeah.
when it comes to the playoffs and their starting pitching is doing as well as it is, it's hard to beat them. It does not help that in a single game, Shohei Ohtani had 10 strikeouts as a pitcher, which is a lot and pretty impressive, and hit 3 home runs in the same game. It's kind of tough when the opposing pitcher does that to you. It's kind of
That's
shitty.
that's like, what are you gonna do at that point?
Yeah. So Shohei is kind of just proving that he's one of the best to ever do it in baseball. And I think when it's all said and done, he will probably be in that conversation.
Yeah.
You can't have games like that and not be.
And not be. You can't. It's not possible.
Like postseason, it's already amplified, and then you do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
really cool to watch that. It was kind of interesting, but beyond that, that was like the only interesting thing that happened in that series. On the other side, this series got a whole lot more interesting than the Dodgers. Last we talked, the Mariners were leading the Blue Jays 2-0 in that series. The Blue Jays did come back to win the series 4-3 after taking it to a game 7. So that was pretty impressive. What a comeback for the Blue Jays. What a collapse from the Mariners, which is kind of the Mariners thing to do. You don't ever you never go to the World Series for a reason. Just kind of.
Yeah.
Still the only team
Yeah.
in baseball to never be to the World Series. Unfortunately, that didn't change this year. I was rooting for them. Obviously, if you didn't watch Game 7, Game 7 was kind of a heartbreak for the Mariners. Had the lead 3-1 going into the bottom of the 7th inning, and then George Springer, with 2 runners on base, hits a 3-run home run. One of the biggest home runs probably in postseason history and in Blue Jays history. Was a pretty incredible moment. Even if I was rooting for the Mariners, it was kind of an incredible moment to watch because it was in Toronto. I think Toronto fans have been kind of unfortunate when it comes to playoffs when you look at who they support in hockey and other leagues. So for them to get this moment was kind of nice for fans of Toronto. Obviously, Toronto has some great fans. We saw it with how they celebrated this win.
They did.
So if they do this for the Blue Jays, I don't even want to know what would happen if the Leafs made it to the Stanley Cup. I don't really want to know.
I think the whole country would have a collective heart attack. So I'm concerned. Look, I did watch Game 7 of Blue Jays and Mariners. It was an unfortunate ending. Maybe it's my fault. I don't know. Maybe the world does not want me to watch baseball. It was unfortunate, but you have a 2-1 lead on a best of 4 or not best of 4, having to win 4, you should not then immediately be fighting for your life in a game 7. So it's unfortunate for the Mariners. I was hoping with, first time to a World Series, but if you're gonna blow the opportunities that come to you, is kind of what happens. Congratulations to the Blue Jays and to Toronto. They are going to be my pick.
They're going to be who I'm
going to be really clear about what I say next. I would really like them to win, right? I think that'd be a lot of fun. Like, Toronto deserves this. Canada deserves this. Will they?
It's going to be close.
I know what the Dodgers are doing, and I know what Shohei Ohtani is doing.
And that's...
But I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. So
I think the Blue Jays have what it takes. I think they're one of the best teams at baseball at being able to just get hits. As weird as that sounds, they might not get home runs, but they do get a lot of hits. And at the end of the day, that is helpful. This is going to be a weird one. I think it's going to really come down to who's starting pitching does better, and if that's the case, I lean heavily towards the Dodgers. They just have the better starting pitching staff. It's just a fact. I'm rooting for the Blue Jays just because I like the story more. I think it's better for the sport, but I would not be surprised if the Dodgers pulled this one.
No, I would not be surprised or shocked at all. But I'm pulling for the Blue Jays.
I will say the Blue Jays have home field advantage through this whole series, so that should help. Game 1 is going to be Friday, October 24th, 5 p.m. Pacific, so 8 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. I think we'll be able to tell a lot from how Game 1 potentially goes. One way or another.
Definitely.
So.
Alrighty. Well, congratulations to the Blue Jays and the Dodgers, and let us know what you guys think, what you're hoping will happen. I think Brennan and I are agreed. Rooting for the Blue Jays. Won't be shocked, though. Won't be shocked.
Yeah.
With that being said, we will move on to college football and the games we both watched this weekend. I only watched one. So
I didn't do much better.
I'm now concerned that we watched the same game. I guess we'll see.
Didn't. I can tell you that. Because I actually watched 2. I watched Notre Dame USC, as we've discussed. I am a Notre Dame fan. Don't hide that. And this game is always a rivalry game. The Notre Dame USC rivalry has been a rivalry for decades. This is always just kind of a fun game to watch, even if you don't care about either team, with just the rivalry aspect. So, watch that one. Notre Dame gets the win, 34-24. I think both of these teams are pretty legit. I like USC's offense in terms of I think they have a really good passing offense with Jaden Mayava. I think Mekhi Lemon might be one of the best all-around wide receivers in college football. So I think they have a very good passing offense. I just don't know if their offense is balanced enough to actually kind of compete with good defenses, and I think that's what we saw. We saw Notre Dame's defense be able to affect the game a lot. Obviously, forced 2 interceptions, got that forced fumble on a weird trick play. So it's just kind of one of those. But, so I think that was what we saw out of USC. Out of Notre Dame, I think they have probably the best running back duo in college football. And it's really not even close. Jeremiah Love is one of the best players in college football, period. Should probably be up there for the Heisman this year. In 24 carries, had 228 yards. rushing.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. And then Jadarian Price is his backup. 13 carries, 87 yards rushing, but added a 101-yard kick return touchdown to the mix. So obviously Notre Dame does have two really great backs, and I think we saw them just kind of abuse USC on the ground the whole game. USC just had no response to it, really. Notre Dame's quarterback just really didn't have to do much. It just kind of felt like a pretty solid win for Notre Dame.
Nice.
And then the other game I watched was LSU and Vanderbilt. Both teams looked pretty good in the SEC. I'm kind of rooting for Vanderbilt right now. I find their whole underdog mentality thing really fun right now. Vanderbilt's never really been a powerhouse football team the past couple of years. So for them to have a really fun team this year, built around a really fun quarterback, a really good run game, and a good defense has been awesome. So watching them win 31-24 over a really good LSU team was really nice. I thought we did see some issues from LSU. The issues I think we've seen all season from them. In terms of, I don't trust their ground game very much. I think Garrett Nussmeier has been not as advertised this season. Obviously, this is his last year of eligibility. I thought he was going to take that next step and become one of the premier quarterbacks in college football and give himself a chance at a pretty high draft pick. I haven't seen that from him. I do think LSU's defense is still really good, despite the scoreline. I thought that goes to show I thought Vanderbilt had a really good game plan going into it and just kind of just outplayed them. But I don't think that's really LSU. I think their defense is still really good. But credit to Vanderbilt for going out there and just having a really good game plan and executing, pretty much. So, all that being said, this Vanderbilt team is really fun to watch. Really hope they keep it going. They have one loss on the season, and it was to Alabama. So, there's nothing wrong with that.
No. I mean, I feel like in a sport where there are so many teams and rivalries that run so deep, if you're not overwhelmingly invested in one of those, underdog story is always kind of fun. It's an easy thing to root for.
Yeah.
Brings me to my game of the week. I watched Tennessee and Alabama play. They were in Alabama, and Alabama does get the win 37-20. I really like to confirm that before. 37-20. Thought it was going to be a little closer. I have friends that are massive fans of both of those teams. So I attempted to stay impartial, but there was an element of kind of felt like Tennessee, was the underdog going into it. Thought that could be fun. If you've never heard an Alabama fan completely lose their mind, you're missing out. So it was a fun day, a fun time. Hang out with friends and watch the game. Thought it was going to be a little closer. Tennessee's offense, I think, is really what struggled here. Defensively, I wasn't so surprised at their performance. They've had 30 plus put up on them every game this year, but I thought they'd be a little more competitive offensively, but they couldn't seem to catch much or get anything really going. It was just kind of a struggle from start to finish. They had a lot of penalties. It was just kind of a struggle, unfortunately. And then defensively, while there are concerns, I think, with Alabama's offense, and I think that continues to be prevalent, it just wasn't enough to hold them at bay this week. So I think everything Tennessee went through in the offseason with the quarterback drama, and we're seeing the changes with NIL, I just don't quite think they were prepared for this game the way they had hoped they were. And Alabama seemed to kind of find themselves for the first time this season. They had help from Tennessee, no doubt, but this is kind of the best performance Alabama's had.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch this game. Looking at the stats and the scoreline, it would suggest Alabama had a pretty good game. Kind of disappointed I missed this one. I thought this would be a test for that Bama defense. I thought Tennessee was coming in with a pretty good offense. So, it seems
Unfortunately, it just didn't travel well. It didn't travel well.
Fair. It's a hard place to travel to.
Yeah. It's loud as a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
It's a couple things I want to do. College football is one that if I got to go to like all the SEC stadiums for a game, that would be something like a bucket list type thing. Just because I think all those teams, all those stadiums are really cool and just have like really good history behind them. So I think that would be a fun one. But yeah, it's always tough to travel to Alabama.
Yeah. I mean, I think I had this thought randomly. I would love to travel to like every NFL stadium. Be a lot of fun. If I could just see the Ravens play at home though, I'd be happy. Like we talked about like the 1 year a couple years ago when they played Seattle, we were disappointed because they played in Baltimore, whereas Seattle is easy. Like you and I could make that game. But to just see them at home one time would be cool. I think beyond that, like never really quite like if you're into college football the way you are, traveling to all of those stadiums I think would be really a lot of fun. Me, I'm like, that sounds like so much effort and like so much work.
I don't necessarily want to do all of them. There are a few.
But just the SEC.
Like the SEC, there are some other ones that I think are like really good stadiums, really good atmospheres that I would go do. But it's pretty much SEC.
Sorry.
For what it's worth. Just though, with college football, there is some housekeeping news. Kind of continuing with the theme. I feel like I don't have this in front of me. I feel like this year has been some of the most head coaches fired in college football ever. I don't have that in front of me. I have no idea if that's true or even close to true. Just kind of feels like this year we're getting a lot of them. The big one was Florida fired Billy Napier. They started the season 3-4. He has a losing record since going there. And when you're as a successful and historied school as Florida when it comes to football, having a losing record in 4 seasons is not good enough. So he's gone. No real. Obviously, they're not going to make a hiring until the end of the season, but I think they'll be in on a lot of the bigger coaches coming out. I think there was another one. Colorado State fired their head coach. Slightly less important. No offense to Colorado State, but smaller school. But they also did.
Yeah.
Just adding to the long list of teams already this season to have fired their coach, which I feel like is more rare in college football. It doesn't happen a whole ton.
I feel like it's flipped, right? Because there were names I expected to see this week on a professional level, and we didn't.
Yeah.
But there's a lot in college, so it feels a little flipped right now.
I think not that everything is NIL's fault. I do think this is why we're seeing more is NIL's fault.
That's fair.
That's fair. These schools are now under more pressure to win. Winning is how you get NIL money to pay your athletes. So you are now expected to win. So I think that is why we're starting to see more firings in college football. when I don't feel like that ever used to really be the case. I feel like you only had to fill positions when coaches kind of moved on higher or laterally. You see it all the time where like a head coach would just go to like Georgia or a better school to just continue their career. But now we're starting to see more firings, which is kind of interesting.
We'll see if it's good for the sport or not.
Yeah, I don't know yet. It's kind of we'll find
Yeah.
out next year probably. Is really where we're at.
Well, if that wraps up college football, then we will kick it to the NFL as they wrapped week seven
Yeah,
in the NFL. All
took me a
of
minute.
the games and the bullshit and the fun stuff, because it got a little weird, right? Like, there were just some things. It's been a weird season. It
Yeah,
was a weird week.
yeah.
Um, and we're going to discuss how you lose on your bye. Sorry about that.
Okay, we'll
Well,
talk about that. We'll start with the breaking news portion first.
of
Just get all
course.
the fun stuff out of the way. Not so fun. We'll start with the injuries. Never good. The Saints, unfortunately, had a double up. They have placed center Eric McCoy on season-ending injured reserve. I don't have what he injured in front of me, but it's bad enough that he's on season-ending IR. And then they've also placed running back Keandre Miller, who's their backup, on season-ending IR with a torn ACL. So, two unfortunate things for an already not great Saints team. Just kind of getting worse.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
unfortunate there. Continuing on, the Chiefs are losing defensive tackle Omar Norman Lott. I believe their second round rookie this year. He also suffered a torn ACL and will be done for the season. Really unfortunate to see a rookie in his first year end up with a really bad injury. Never want to see that. Um, so hopefully he comes back next season and can continue to play well. Obviously, kind of ends up being a redshirt year for him this year.
Yeah.
Um,
It's always unfortunate.
yep. And then another. I don't know if this one is season ending. It's been some mixed things. Mike Evans, the wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, broke his collarbone and has a concussion. According to Todd Bowles, mostly towards the end of the year is when he will be back. I don't know if that means there's a possibility he's back in season playoffs or if this is kind of one. It depends. We haven't really heard a ton else on it. Really unfortunate. Mike Evans is a great player in this league. I think the real unfortunate part is this is probably the end of his record-setting streak
Yeah.
for most 1,000-yard seasons. So that's really unfortunate. Never want to see a streak like that end because of an injury.
Yeah. And this was heartbreaking to
Yeah,
watch.
especially because just came back from injury. And then,
Yeah. And just the whole went up for the ball, came down, and you knew the exact moment
something went wrong.
he done messed himself up. Because he just let go of that ball. He was like, I'm done. This is it. I just lay here now. And
It was not good to watch.
it was horrifying. He's a great wide receiver. He's a great player. He and Baker Mayfield have had a great connection. Like you said, he just continues to add to that record book, and for this to snap that is very unfortunate.
Um, and then just two more injuries. Panthers QB Bryce Young suffered a high ankle sprain Sunday. He's expected to miss, I think, a couple weeks. I know he is out for the game against Buffalo this week. Beyond that, I'm not 100% sure how long they're going to be without him. I didn't think I would say this, but the Panthers have been pretty okay this year, and I think losing Young won't derail their season, but could kind of mess them up. I thought they were kind of
Yeah,
building something all right there. I thought Young was
yeah.
playing all right, and I thought the team overall was doing better than we all expected from them. So unfortunate there. And then the last one is Jaden Daniels retweaked his hamstring injury. So he's out for this week against the Chiefs. And then his future is kind of unknown. I don't think the Commanders are going to try to rush him back again after tweaking the
Yeah.
same injury that held him out earlier in the season.
Shockingly, that didn't go well. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And mobile quarterbacks, right? It's different. Different.
Yeah.
A pulled hamstring or a tight hamstring for a pocket guy, it's annoying. You can probably deal with it. There's a reason Lamar has sat out for like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile quarterbacks is different. When they can't do the thing that makes them who they are,
It becomes significantly harder.
yeah. And it takes away from the offense. So really unfortunate for Jaden Daniels. Hopefully he gets the rest he needs.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Probably need to sit him for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then 2 more bits of news. We'll start with this one. The Eagles have convinced Brandon Graham to come out of retirement to hopefully help their pass rush that has been vacated by Preston Smith, I believe, is who retired. This one's weird. Unfortunately, I think Brandon Graham is definitely past it. So when the Eagles have to do this to try to solidify a position, it's not great. It's not great. Obviously, a legend there in Philly, but not sure how much he has left.
He was great, right? He was great.
And then he wasn't.
We're just at that point. What are we doing here, people? What are we doing?
Yeah. Not sure about that one, but gets another crack at it, I guess. So.
Yep.
Go him.
Good luck to him. Good luck to the Eagles, I suppose.
And then the last bit of news hits a little home for Seahawks fans. Tyler Lockett has been released by the Tennessee Titans. This is really not that surprising. The Titans have not been good, and Tyler Lockett has pretty much been non-existent. I think his only touchdown on the season was on that ridiculous play against the Cardinals, in which he threw the interception, fumbled it into the end zone, and he fell on it. So he's, I think, past it as well. Maybe
didn't he ask for this?
Did he
ask for this, or did they just do it?
I think it was both. I think they were like, we don't need you, and he was probably like, all right, I don't need to play for you. What this means, I have no idea. For every Seahawk fan that wants him back in Seattle, that's not happening.
Nope.
You don't need him. You already have an old player that is essentially his skill set in Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
And Cooper Kupp's better at this point, unfortunately.
Unless you ask them to throw the ball.
We're going to rant about that in a minute. It's fine. It's fine. Definitely didn't send me into a fit of rage. Definitely. But yeah. I'm not really sure where Tyler Lockett goes from here. I would not be surprised if he ends up in Las Vegas. That's all I'm going to say.
Valid. Where they all seem to be going right now. I don't think it's going to help, but they're welcome to try.
You're welcome to try. Part of me is like, go for it. But I'm also like, I think you should just hang him up. and stick to being a realtor.
Fair. That's fair. Alrighty. Well, if that does it for breaking news, then we will get into our games of the weeks. As the Ravens were on bye, yes, I did pick 2 games. We will still stick to what matters most. So we will start with this Seahawks game.
See, the Seahawks won, and that's great. And it was good. Got the win before we head into the bye. And the Seahawks won 27-19. So it was a close game. The reason I do that is it shouldn't have been a close game.
Yep.
I think this was by far, other than the loss to the 49ers, the worst game Seattle's played this season. Just from a complete team standpoint. They still got the win, which is good, but it was just not good. We'll start on offense. We'll start with the good. 2 touchdowns from Charbonnet. Both of them were kind of snaked. It is what it is. I don't know what it is about this offense and about Kubiak and who he chooses. I get it. Charbonnet is probably the better red zone and short yardage running back. But I just enjoy how in like every press conference prior to this game, they talked about Kenneth Walker earning more snaps and probably going to take a bigger role. And Charbonnet gets 2 touchdowns on the goal line. Just all I'm going to say. Kind of feel bad for Walker, especially because it was his birthday. Just I'll put that out there. But it was good for Charbonnet. Glad that he did get in the end zone twice. And then JSN had the other touchdown for the Seahawks, as he continues to be probably the best wide receiver in football this season, as of now. So that's all great. On to the not so great. The Seahawks offense had 4 turnovers, and that's not good. That's the most they've had all season. This was probably Darnold's worst game so far this season. Had the fumble leading to the touchdown. Obviously, you can't do that. You can't take a sack in the end zone because it would have been a safety had he not fumbled. But he did fumble, so it was a touchdown instead because the Texans recovered. And then threw probably his worst interception of the season. Tried to throw it in the seam to A.J. Barner. It just wasn't there. Stingley broke on the ball way too well. It's one of those interceptions that literally every quarterback in the league throws at least one of them a season, where you think you can fire it into the seam, and you just can't. So it happens, but still probably his worst interception of the season. You then had the Arroyo fumble. That one was a little iffy. It didn't look like he completed the catch in terms of, like, I don't think he made a football move. He didn't take 3 steps. But I had problems with the officiating regardless. That one I probably had the least problem with of all the officiating in this game. So it is what it is. And then probably my least favorite of the bunch was the Cooper Kupp interception. And the reason I hated this so much is at this point, Seattle's winning 14-0 with less than 10 minutes to go in the fourth. I do not remember the exact point it happens. But they are whooping the Texans. The Texas offense can't do anything. The defense can't guard anybody. And mind you, this is a defense only giving up 12 points per game on the season. Now, granted, it was a little inflated because I want to say they held the Ravens to like 3 the week they played. Very injured Ravens team, so little skewed. But they're still only allowing 12 points per game on defense, which is still a ridiculous number. You beat that number in the first quarter. So why you go out there and you're driving again to get into the... I'm pretty sure they're just on the edge of the red zone. Why you decide. Darnold is having a fantastic game up to this point. JSN cannot be guarded. to this point. He's been open a lot, has the touchdown at this point. And we decide we're going to have Cooper Kupp, who I don't think has ever attempted a pass in the NFL, throw the ball. Just not smart, because you had a chance to go down and go up by at minimum 17 points. You kick a field goal at that point, you're up 17. But the way this offense was playing and the way they were taking advantage of this Texans defense, they could have easily been up 21 before the half, and the game would have felt over, because seriously, this Texans offense sucks. It is not good. This offensive line is terrible. I feel bad for CJ Stroud, but that offensive line is terrible. So I don't know why we decided in that moment to do that. It's also sad that the Seahawks have run, I believe, 4 gadget plays this year. 3 of them with Jalen Milroe, 1 of them with Cooper Kupp throwing the ball. 2 of them have ended in turnovers. Another one ended in a loss of yardage, and the other one gained 4 yards, but stalled the drive. So not great. So I think the Seahawks should just pull their heads out of their asses and stop doing it. Doesn't work. There are teams that are good at it. The Lions, the Chiefs, and go on, that are good at the gadget play. The Seahawks are not. So maybe stick to our lane and not. Just a thought. Yeah. Overall, I can't necessarily complain about the offense, because they did still put up 27 points against the best defense in football at the time, in terms of scoring. Obviously, only allowing 12 points per game. You put up 27. You doubled their average. That's pretty good. But this was definitely the sloppiest I've seen this offense play. I think this was, again, the worst game we've seen out of Sam Darnold, and just overall, not the best offensive performance, but it still had moments where it looked great. I think the biggest moment for me in the game was Darnold loses the fumble leading to the touchdown, and then proceeds to throw one of the best passes I've seen in a long time, drops it in a bucket to JSN, and it was beautiful. So for that back-to-back sequence, your quarterback didn't compound the situation with worse play. So I can live with that. So overall, can't complain about the offense that much. Now, I do think with the bye week coming up, they kind of need to figure some shit out. That is what the bye week is for. Hopefully they do that. Defensively, take all this with a grain of salt, because this Texas offense is not very good. Their offensive line sucks. I don't think CJ Stroud has looked like he did in his rookie year regardless. Part of that is the offensive line. Part of that's the having 2 coordinators in 2 years. Part of that is I'm just not sure CJ Stroud is what we thought he was. So yeah, take all this with a grain of salt. But that defense looked elite, truthfully. They allowed 2 field goals, one off of the interception, one off a misplayed 4-minute drill. They had, and then a touchdown. So they gave up 13 points. The defense did. The other 6 came off of the Sam Darnold fumble. So 13 points, really good. Played pretty elite. This front 7 is definitely elite. The way Jaron Reed, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy are playing in the middle, fantastic. DeMarcus Lawrence looks like an absolute steal in free agency. Love him. Boye Mafe, I thought, had his best game so far this season. I think he's been relatively disappointing so far, but I thought he was good this game. Good there. Drake Thomas looked great in this game. Ernest Jones looks great every game. That just kind of is what it is. So front seven looked fantastic. Secondary, I thought definitely had a better week than they've had previous weeks. They still were without Devon Witherspoon and Julian Love, and they also were without D Hall on the defensive line. So 3 starters all should be back after the bye week, so that's all good. But still without them, didn't really matter. I thought Nick Emenwari had a fantastic game, had a couple pass breakups, had some really good pressures on blitzes. Okada, I thought, had a great game, had a really big pass breakup in the end zone, had a sack. Thought he was great. The one thing I'll say about this one, the defense did only cause 1 turnover. I would like to have that number to have gone up a little bit, just with everything they were doing. I didn't think that mattered. They did get some really key 4th down stops, which to me counts as a turnover. You're getting the ball back without a punt. Those just don't count towards actual turnovers. Some key 4th down stops. So that was all great. Again, this defense looks awesome. No real notes on the defense other than I cannot wait to see them fully healthy. Just what McDonald can do with this team, seeing what Nick Emenwari has been able to do, and then match that with Witherspoon, who's an absolutely incredible player that you can move all over the place. I really can't wait to see what he does. So I'm really hoping this defense can be fully healthy here soon. I want to say they've played 4 snaps of having the entire defense healthy. So it's obviously tough football, but I would like to see it just for a little bit at max strength. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the game. For my offensive player of the game, I'm taking JSN. Like, you can't pick anybody else right now because he's in the convo for offensive player of the year. I don't think he is the offensive player of the year because Jonathan Taylor has been just on a stupid tear with the Colts right now. It's kind of insane. He has 11 touchdowns. That's more than some teams have in the season. So that's pretty much all you need to know. He's been pretty insane. So yeah, JSN's the offensive player of the game. He pretty much is like every week, so it's kind of getting boring. Defensive player of the game, I have like 3. I think the whole defense could be, but I have Ernest Jones, who did get the interception. I thought he was great. Ty Okada, I thought he was great. And then Drake Thomas, I thought he looked fantastic. I think he's won the second linebacker role next to Ernest Jones. So that was awesome to see. Those are really the 3 guys I felt made this defense look really great Monday. So that was awesome. That was really it for the game itself. I want to talk. We don't normally do this. I want to talk about the officiating this week. A lot of it is to do with this game. There will be some examples from some other ones. Because I think overall this week, it was not great.
A rough week.
Not great.
It was a rough week.
In this game in particular, Monday Night Football, late, 7 p.m. kickoff. Not a lot of people were watching it. I will say, the refs just did not seem like they wanted to be there in this game. Every time the head ref went to announce whatever was happening, he just looked like he didn't know what was going on. Constantly. You can always tell when they're like stuttering around, trying to find the words.
Facing the wrong direction.
Yeah, his mic wasn't working some of the time. That was always not great. It's really unfortunate. There's like a couple plays in particular, like the one, how that first one on the first drive, the Seahawks sack C.J. Stroud. How that isn't a safety is beyond me. I don't get it. I understand what the rules expert said. They said it was forward progress, and the first contact was made outside the end zone. My question is, how is CJ Stroud running backwards, forward progress? If he's like moving forward and Nwosu was the one that got the sack, then pushed him into the end zone, I'd be like, all right, that's fair. He was moving forward, and then Nwosu forced him back. Nwosu had nothing to do with CJ Stroud going into the end zone. That was all Stroud. So I don't understand how that can be called forward progress and not a safety. Like that one just didn't make sense to me. I don't necessarily think that's the ref's fault per se, but I think the explanation wasn't great. The next play we want to talk about was the JSN sideline scuffle. Don't necessarily think that was refereed properly. I think there were 3 fouls on the play, not one, which does matter because one of them was on JSN. I think there was clearly a face mask on Derek Stingley. You could see JSN's helmet go flying. That doesn't just happen. So there's a face mask there. I do think JSN should get a penalty for shoving Stingley while Stingley's out of bounds. That is a penalty. He did it. You could see it. And then the penalty I believe they called was on the Texans player shoving JSN while he was out of bounds into the bench. So by my count, 3 penalties. Only one was called, which did really affect that drive, because I believe that backed them up 15 yards and kind of moved them out of field goal range and out of range, like out of real scoring range. I do believe they ended up scoring on that drive, but still, it does knock them further back. Had to work harder for it. So not great there. Not all the refs were bad. I do want to shout out one of them. Nate Jones, the line judge that protected JSN. Good move. Thought that was great. A ref just kind of making sure a player without a helmet is safe, isn't going to get punched or pushed or anything on an opposing sideline that's already not happy with him. So I think that was a good refereeing moment there. So it's not all bad. And then down the stretch of this game, I definitely felt there were some missed calls on both sides. I think the biggest one for me was the no call on the offside on Seattle. To me, Lawrence definitely was offside on that 4th down. The Seahawks get the stop with the Texans 4th and goal. That if they called the offside, the Texans would have gotten another chance at it closer. I definitely felt like that was offside. The announcers thought it was close and that he timed it up well. Not so sure. I think he got off a little early. So that was one. There was a couple more down the stretch I felt were just questionable calls. Outside the Seahawks game, some other ones. The Broncos game, the pass interference that led to the Giants taking the lead late. Didn't think that was pass interference. Thought that was a bad call. The ref throwing the flag after the game is over on Dre Greenlaw for Dre Greenlaw yelling at him. Now, don't get me wrong. No idea what Dre Greenlaw said. Have no idea what happened. You saw the video of him running over and yelling at the ref, getting in the ref's face. Don't think that's acceptable. But the ref throws the flag, and then Greenlaw was suspended for 1 game afterwards.
Yeah.
One, how is a player yelling at a ref equivalent to a player punching a guy in the face after the game is over? I feel like that's a question to be asked. Both were 1-game suspensions.
Yeah.
So, questions to be asked.
It's a little confusing.
Questions to be asked there, but that's not great. And there was just some other ones that I felt were just really bad this week. So not a great week for officiating. Um, and yeah, not great there. And then just a small side note: if you watch the Seahawks game and you watched one play where Sam Darnold scrambled, went out of bounds, and then a Texans player pretty much just pile drived him into the ground. That was Azeez Al-Shaair. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he's pretty much always getting in trouble for doing something to a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's been suspended several times. He's been fined several times. He's been pretty much warned several times about his actions. If we're so into player safety, how is he still in the league? Because I feel like every chance he gets to try to injure the opposing quarterback, he takes it.
He takes it.
And this isn't new. He's done this several times. I believe he gave Trevor Lawrence a concussion when he slid.
It was like he got suspended last year for basically targeting Trevor Lawrence.
I believe he's been flagged a couple times this year for similar situations. I want to say he slapped Cam Ward in the face after the play. That got him one. There's some other ones. It's just a question to be asked. When it's the same player doing the same thing pretty much consistently.
Yeah, I think while the NFL takes player safety, right, very seriously, right? That's like their campaign fucking slogan. We don't actually do much to prevent players from being the problem.
Yeah.
And the fact that moment was allowed to happen and the circumstances for that moment were allowed to happen is ridiculous.
And again.
And then not immediately being ejected was crazy to me. It was crazy to me.
It's just like how many times?
And then there should be genuine consequences. Not, oh, you're suspended a game. Oh, here's a fine. That doesn't matter.
It's the same player. I'd have less problems if it was like players make mistakes.
Someone different.
It happens. Like players get in the heat of the moment. You make a mistake. You get fined. Who cares? For him, I feel like every chance he gets to do it, he does it.
He does it.
Yeah. So, don't love that. Thankful that Darnold wasn't hurt on the play. So yeah. That's it for my random bullshit with refs and the
NFL. I mostly watched this game.
That's fair.
I watched the Bucks-Lions game, which we're going to talk about later. And then it was on. And I was like, cool, doing it. And TikTok just consumed it. And it's like, it's there. It's happening.
It was one. It got boring. I don't think it helped.
So I started it, and I thought, I was like, this is going to be a blowout. And then I was like, now Brendan's mad.
Yep.
I know Brendan's mad.
I stopped watching it for a little bit after that. Because I was convinced. Here's the problem. I just watched the Mariners blow it in Game 7.
Yeah.
And if you watch the game, you kind of saw at the beginning of the game, the fans were into it. I think overall, this was not the turnout Seattle is known for in terms of fans. I think that had to do with the scheduling of the game. Having it at 7 p.m. Pacific on a Monday was probably not the best thing. But I think you saw a considerable shift in crowd mentality the moment they found out the Mariners lost. You could kind of hear and feel the crowd just disappear in terms of the energy wasn't there,
the excitement,
and then for you to not immediately after, but not long after that happens, do 2 moments of just pure stupidity. I was like, oh my god, they're trying to throw this football game away.
Yeah. So it did not have my full attention.
That's fair. It didn't have mine for the most part.
I did look up to catch Cooper Kupp's interception. Confused by that. I was confused by that. Like, it feels early to be getting cute, especially when you refuse to bury teams.
And that's
So I was confused by that.
McDonald was asked about it in his press conference, and I didn't love the answer he gave. The answer he gave is, we want to be aggressive, we want to put teams away, we want to do these things. I feel like that's not the way to be aggressive. I understand.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that genuinely they did this as a way to try to get the crowd back into it. Of, hey, look, we're going to do this fancy thing.
Something fun.
To try to get the energy back, and it just kind of backfired.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I did watch it. I mean, it was a game. They got the win. Happy for the Seahawks. I'm glad somebody's fucking happy. But it just was on.
That's fair. I did go back. Like, I finished out the first half and then went back to it. But I was very much not happy.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, if that wraps it up for Seahawks for now, obviously. We will start with my first game of the week. I watched Thursday Night Football, the start of the football week, with the Bengals versus the Steelers. The Bengals got the win, 33-31.
That's impressive.
So many thoughts. Not enough time. Not enough money for a swear jar. It's not important. It was a decent game, honestly. It was high scoring. It was a competitive college football game. That's kind of what it looked like, I'm going to be honest with you. Which is weird because you have the two oldest quarterbacks in the NFL.
I didn't even clock that game put you in dead last of your division until just now.
It didn't, actually. That's not the game that did it.
Oh, yeah, it was the Browns that did it. But still.
Yeah. I am now. Yeah, yeah. I was like, no, it didn't. Those two were already ahead of me. Joe Flacco made what we have all considered to be one of the worst O-lines in football look decent. So I now have bigger concerns about the Bengals than I did before this game, and they won.
Yeah,
They had their most successful run game than they've had in years. Flacco had time.
I will say,
Flacco had protection.
Just to be the devil's advocate here, the Seahawks' best rushing game of the season was also against Pittsburgh. So I don't think Pittsburgh has a very good run-stopping defense.
That a defense that holds TJ Watt.
Yeah, no, I get it.
This O-line should have been chewed apart, and it wasn't. Joe Flacco was able to run the ball. The man is 40 years old. I was concerned he was going to break a hip when he took off. I was confused.
They both did. That was the insane part.
It, to me, does call into question more of the concerns I have about Joe Burrow. No, I do not think this team should have hope. And I'm sorry about that. I really am. And it's not coming from a biased perspective. I watched this game. And I watched Jamar Chase make very uncharacteristic drops. I watched a 40-year-old quarterback who has never been mobile run. And I watched a team that has kind of stood on defense fall apart.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco does not have a lot of these games in him. He doesn't. You know you're tired when you win, and that man could not give a crap on the sideline. He's watching that kick go. Burrow's excited. He's up. He's in the cast, but he's up. He's excited. He's happy. Flacco looks like he could not be fucking bothered. He's just like, I'm here today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And I don't know that that's a quarterback and that this is a team who can have a ton of hope in. As for the Steelers, right, currently lead the division, 41-year-old quarterback, highest paid defense in the NFL, and they look like shit. J.J. Watt just looks like another name on a defense, not the elite pass rusher we've known. Their secondary could not be bothered. The Bengals did more to hinder themselves in pass catching than the Steelers defense did. So I am not saying this to hype my team. They have a long way to go. But I don't feel any worse watching that game.
Yeah.
And I don't think that winning the division is still out of the question.
Your division is wide open, despite the fact that the Steelers have 4 wins.
Yeah. It was a good game. It was competitive. It came down to the wire. But I do not think either of these teams should feel great about themselves.
And on the Steelers side, because I do want to comment on this, I think the Steelers are the prime example of why you want to build your defense young and your offense older. I think that, to me, tends to be the case. Because that defense is hella old, and we're seeing why it might not be great, because it's hella old.
To do that. It was a good game. I'm glad that I got to watch the both of them. Made me feel better. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Made me feel better.
Well,
I know their record sucks, but
the Ravens are still a train wreck, so I don't know. But there's something about watching other train wrecks that probably helps.
That I have to compete with, like, directly, that I'm like, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Fuck. Jesus, we have to beat Brendan. I'm going to cry.
It's tough.
Got some good news. We'll get to that later, but it's okay. Things are looking up. So yeah. I'm not going to say congratulations to the Bengals. I'm not. I can't. I won't. Can't make me. But it was a good game. Glad I watched it. That's going to be the end of that.
Fair. Fair enough.
So we will kick it to Brendan's game of the week.
Yeah.
I don't remember what you picked.
I took the Patriots and the Tennessee Titans. Probably not the best one I could have picked, but I was curious. I wanted to see what the Titans were like under the new regime. I say regime as if they're going to be around. They're not. Just watching that game, they're not.
There was like a brief moment right in the very beginning where I was like, oh, snap, and then I was like, oh, there it goes. Nope.
There was a brief moment where I was like, oh, the new coach rise, and then it was like, oh, no, never mind.
There's a stat. I don't know it off the top of my head, so please, people watching, do not quote me directly. Most interim head coaches, though,
win their first game.
Because a team really rallies. So,
unfortunately for the Titans, I don't think their rallying was better than the Patriots rallying behind Mike Vrabel. And that was kind of
his comeback to Tennessee.
Yeah. So, feel bad for Tennessee. I think Cam Ward has a lot of progress to make. We're seeing some of those issues he had in college with ball security. I think he's lost the most fumbles so far this year of anybody in football. So that's not great. I see the upside. I see everything. I think he's going to be good. There's just some things he needs to iron out. I don't think the surrounding cast around him is going to be here for very long.
No.
Um,
No.
They're another one. It just seems they just need as many picks as humanly possible to build a younger team. I think we're just really seeing that right now. So I think for the rest of their season, it's just going to be getting the younger guys reps, seeing what they have in players, and just kind of looking forward to the offseason. On the Patriots side, I was watching them just to see who they are, and there's not a lot you can tell from this game in particular. What I will say is I do think Drake May is legit.
Yeah.
It's not the best defense he went against. Don't get that twisted. But he still went 21 for 23 completion with a 91.3 completion percentage, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, added some on the ground. I thought he had a very good, efficient day, which is all you need to see from him. And I think he's legit. I think he's going to be legit.
Yeah, agreed.
There's just not a lot else to say about the Titans, unfortunately. It's just when you're that much better than your opponent, there's not a lot to glean from it. And they were that much better.
The Patriots.
Yeah. So, kind of happy for the Patriots, not really, but kind of.
Yeah, no, but
it's fair enough. I like Mike Vrabel as a coach, so I was kind of happy he got his win, returning to Tennessee after what Tennessee did to him. Should never have fired him. That was just a ridiculous decision.
That was insane.
That's what happens when owners make emotional decisions.
Not logical ones.
Yeah. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Just not great. So happy for him. Yeah. I think this Patriots team could be all right this year. I think they could be a challenger for the playoffs. I don't necessarily think they win their division. I still am not sure they're much better than the Bills at the end of the day. We'll see. This Bills team does have some issues.
Yeah.
But so does this Patriots team. So it's just what issues are going to be exploited more when type thing.
And I think for me, and the thing that should concern fan bases, the Bills are an established team.
Yes.
With issues. The Patriots have a first-time head coach, a second-year quarterback, and a patchwork team built off money.
Yeah.
And that's what you do as an intelligent head coach and an intelligent front office when you're trying to rebuild. And then you inject culture and you start to draft and develop and things like that, and those things come with time. When that team is already looking comparable to the team that's led your division the last several years, as an established one, there are some concerns.
And that's still why I don't think they win the division, is because the Bills have just been there and done that recently.
That's right. And I'm not convinced they do this year either.
And when you're that young,
I think the next couple years are going to be interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I think this year,
yeah,
I think the Patriots can be a playoff team. I think the AFC's pretty weak currently.
Train wreck. Just a train wreck.
In terms of, I think, oddly enough, I think the AFC has just been a really weird division of, I'm not really sure.
Conference?
Yeah, conference. I'm not sure. The NFC has been a bloodbath, so good luck. You have to be 5-2 currently to be in a playoff picture in the NFC. That's how
Are we talking about the NFC or the AFC?
NFC. I was comparing the two.
Oh, okay.
Like the
I'm so
NFC,
confused right now.
you have to be 5-2. The AFC, you don't have to be that good.
I think you have to be 3-3 right now.
I think you're right. So
So
it's kind of
yeah.
wide open in the AFC currently in terms of who gets in. So I think the Patriots have a really good shot at that. I don't think they get the division and get to host a playoff game. Is really where I was going with this whole thing.
Fair. Not yet. I don't. It's still a little early.
Not yet.
We shall see. But currently, I would be surprised.
Correct.
Alrighty. Well, then to my second game of the week was Lions versus Buccaneers. This did not go at all. I thought that was going to go.
No.
Lions get the win 24-9. There were a couple of unfortunate moments that led to this situation. One of which was the pass that was ruled an interception. Both an offensive and defensive player went up for the ball. They both come down with the ball. Technically, tie goes to the offense. However, if you look at the replay, the ball does kind of move right before the end. So it's did he have control?
Truthfully,
the whole thing.
It didn't look like he had control. It seemed like that
Here's
was
my thing.
Interception. Just looking at it.
Yeah. I think it was the right call. I think it was the wrong moment.
Yeah.
I think if that had been the original call, correct.
Sure.
Because you had to go back and look at it, I'm not sure it was enough.
That's fair.
I'm not the ref, but I watched that like 6 times, right? Because it just kept playing it. I didn't love it, but
I kind of agree. If you have to review it, I don't think there's anything conclusive enough to tell you that that wasn't a catch for the offense.
It just wasn't enough for me.
And that's
because you had to review it. If in that moment you'd been like, nah, that ball moved, and then someone had been like, actually, maybe just check it, and that they'd been like, nah, see, ball moved. We're good. We're moving on. Just didn't think it was enough. The Bucks made some questionable, I think, play calling decisions. They had some trouble in the beginning with their rookie wide receiver Johnson. A few drop passes that really shouldn't have been there. It's just kind of a rough day for the Bucks offense. Thought defensively they played really well to hold the Lions to only 24. Multiple sacks on the day.
I think really the thing for me with the Buccaneers, I think we finally saw the injury toll the Buccaneers have gone through finally like show up.
Yeah,
like it just felt like
100%
Baker couldn't get them out of this one. Not having your top wide receiver, not having your third best wide receiver, and then your second best one out there with a bad hamstring that he probably shouldn't have been out there on. That's not great. Your offensive line's been torn to pieces, and we've seen this Lions defense be able to exploit that.
Yeah. And they've had a great run game all year. They couldn't get that going. I agree.
Best running back was out.
I think you saw the totality of their injuries, and I think you saw all of that come to a head against a really great team.
Yeah.
Great defense. And there were a couple of times I thought they should have taken the points. But that's always kind of a tough call, especially in the beginning, especially when you know what kind of team you're going up against.
Yeah.
And a team that will go forward on fourth.
And that won't take prisoners. And that's what you have to think of. And that's really where I'm at with the Lions. This team just doesn't take prisoners. They're gonna beat you.
No.
They're gonna beat you down.
But your defense was doing enough. So
The one thing they couldn't do was stop Jahmyr Gibbs, and truthfully,
no, that was a struggle.
not a lot of teams
That was a
can.
struggle.
So it's
Um so it was a really good game. I will be the first to say I wildly underestimated the Lions this year.
yeah.
I had pretty much counted them out. I thought with changes at both offensive and defensive coordinators, it wouldn't be there. I was wrong.
Man, their new
They look
DC.
really good.
I don't know what the guy's name is who took over for Aaron Glenn,
Yeah,
but man, he's got that defense looking great.
he's
So
got them locked in. It's a great team. They're a lot of fun to watch. They're a lot of fun to root for. Um, they get the win. They get the win against the Bucks, and honestly, I'm just happy for them. I don't know another team that's put so much into culture and into identity that could have just kept rolling the way this team did and has. And I think Dan Campbell gets a lot of respect for that.
yeah.
A lot of props for that. And I'm going to be honest with you, at this point in time, he's my coach of the year.
That's fair. There's some other ones you can make the argument for currently. I think what Shane Steichen's been able to do in Indy is pretty impressive.
Valid.
But Dan Campbell's up there. I feel like he should be every year, just with how he has the Lions playing every year.
It's a done deal right now. I just think currently he is mine. Like he would be my vote.
And that's a respectable choice.
I hope the Bucks can
right the ship.
Get some health going. It's a struggle. I get it. But it was a good game. I had a lot of fun watching it. And yeah.
Fair.
Alrighty. Well, what other games stood out to you this week?
There's only one game I want to talk about.
I have two.
There's only like one game, and then there's a side note thing for me. So see what games you pick. The one game I want to talk about is the Giants and Broncos.
Absolutely.
I figured that was like one of them. Yeah, I figured that was one of them. Because damn, I don't know.
Crazy. That was crazy.
The only thing I can say about this game is the Broncos sucked.
And then we're 3.5 quarters.
And then we're the best team in football.
Yeah.
Like that. Like for reference, going into the fourth quarter, the score was 13-0. And then I believe, midway through, it was 19-0. And then the Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Which is hella impressive. I think it's the most points scored in a fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And not to mention the fact that the game ended 33-32. So it wasn't like the Giants stopped scoring.
Yeah.
Like, that's the...
And it wasn't like the Broncos just got 21. They were like, it's good enough. You know what I mean? Like, you had to get.
You got to keep going. So very impressive there. There are questions. I think this Giants team is going to be fun for a while. I think they've got the right mix of young, old. I think they definitely hit on Jackson Dart. I think he's going to be really good. Yeah. He's looked pretty good. Cam Scatterbo is just so fun to watch. It's just so entertaining. And then their defense, I think that pass rush is just lethal with all the guys they have there. Just a couple things to fix in the secondary, and I think that will go a long way. And they're doing all this without probably the best player on that team, period. Malik Neighbors being hurt for the year. So that's also impressive to me. Yeah. So from the Giants, we didn't expect them to win this game, and I think truthfully, it's probably better they didn't. Like I think this team needs to improve more in the draft and needs better picks to do it. Just getting that secondary finalized and maybe adding another weapon. Um, but I do think this Giants team is going to be fun here soon. Um,
Yeah,
and
agreed.
then on the Broncos side, I don't understand what Sean Payton's doing. I don't get how you can be this incompetent for 3.5 quarters and then seriously look like the best offense in football for the last half a quarter. I don't.
So I have two theories, right? I have two things, my notes for the game.
Okay.
One, I was horrified. I was horrified that this was the performance we were putting on to honor Demaryius Thomas. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, that
He would have
is
been
unacceptable.
throwing shit.
Yeah,
For
that's
those
unacceptable.
that don't know, Demaryius Thomas was a great wide receiver for the Broncos. He was part of their Super Bowl 50 win. He was a very important part of it.
Yeah.
With Peyton Manning. He tragically lost his life at a very young age due to a health condition. And he was inducted into their Ring of Honor this week. It was the first year he was eligible. They made damn sure to do it. I was very happy with that. I was very impressed with that. They also inducted, they celebrated. He's got another year. My bad. They celebrated their win for the Super Bowl. It was a great moment. A lot of beautiful people got to speak. A lot of former teammates.
Yeah.
Huge Demaryius Thomas fan. I grew up a huge fan of the Broncos.
Love DT.
He was a phenomenal player. He was a great human being. I remember the tribute the Broncos made when he passed, and I bawled for like the first quarter of that game. I was horrified that this was the performance we were putting on. To then come back and score 33 points, that's how old DT was, in 37 seconds was, or to go 80, it was 88 yards, which was his number.
Yeah.
In 33 seconds.
Yep.
Was
odd.
I
and
cried.
Eerie.
And it was weird. I have said, you have said, adamantly, when you let Bo Nix be Bo Nix, he is a good to great quarterback. When Sean Payton wants to be Sean Payton and control and nitpick everything, Bo Nix is average crap.
He's not even average. He's
in
well
the last 5 minutes of the game. A quarterback's just out there fighting for his life. You're calling plays, but the quarterback's just taking what the defense gives him. He's doing what he knows how to do. He's connecting with the guys he's comfortable with. He's taking the shots he knows he can. They take more risks. And that is where Bo Nix thrives. So I don't know how Sean Payton doesn't know what I know and what you know. Or if he's just unwilling to do it.
I think my problem is
but we saw
somehow
it could be a great team.
What my problem is right now with Peyton is we saw the change last year. Like to begin the season, the training wheels were very much on for like the first half. And then like the last half, I don't necessarily, like after Bo Nix got into the screaming match with him on the sideline, you kind of saw it start to change. And you kind of saw Peyton start to trust him a little more, and you kind of saw this offense flow better with just Nix being able to do Nix things.
Yeah.
We've somehow reverted back to the beginning of last season.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. And it's not helping them. It's not helping them. This team could win the division.
They're there.
I'm not convinced the Chargers aren't cursed.
Oh,
The Raiders are always the Raiders. The Chiefs, taking a couple weeks to get off the ground. You could win this division,
like
but you have to chill out.
Like, you're in the lead. That's the sad reality. They're in the lead.
I'm just not convinced they're going to hold it.
I'm not either.
Not if he keeps handcuffing Bo Nix.
I think he's really just handcuffing the team at this point. Like, it's not good.
No. They got lucky, right? That the Jets are terrible.
Yeah, the Giants just kind of blew the game.
Nope.
Oh,
the week before, they got lucky that the Jets are terrible. And then you got lucky because you tried to lose this game. You really did. The pass interference call, Sean Payton running onto the field screaming, getting an unsportsmanlike conduct. Like, you tried to lose this game. So maybe if we take a different approach, that would be helpful. That would be helpful.
Yeah. It's just not good. Just not good.
No, it's not.
What was the other game you want to talk about?
How you lose your bye week.
All right.
The Ravens entered the week third in the division out of fourth. The only team worse than them was the Browns. They had the same record, but the Ravens got the win over the Browns. So the Ravens were in third, Browns in fourth. And then the Browns played the Miami Dolphins. And looked like a competent franchise. Except they didn't, right? A lot of punts, turnovers. It's just a train wreck. But get the win, 31, by the way, which is the most points that the Browns have put up in like 3 years, to 6. A $50+ million quarterback was benched for a rookie who played 4 snaps. And his coach looks like he hates him, by the way. And so now, the Ravens are in fourth.
So, side note on
has nobody been fired?
Yeah, there's that. With the Seahawks coming on by, I kind of want to. I do the quarterback rankings. I'm not going to do like a full ranking, but I kind of want to look at what quarterbacks are not going to be on their team next year. And
you probably lost your job.
There are a couple.
I was so confused by this game. I understand it was raining, right? It's a little chilly. Hard for the Dolphins. It was difficult. We play a winter sport, but we can't play in the cold. They're also the only Florida team that struggles as much as they do in the cold, just so we're clear. Tampa does okay. Jacksonville does okay. It's just Miami. This whole team needs redone.
Yeah.
Whole organization. I'm confused on what we're waiting for. Now, I'm not convinced it's going to help, right? It's not going to help. But I'm confused.
Like, it's so clear you have to fire the head coach and the GM.
Oh my god.
Like it's very clear the GM has not put together a good team, and Mike McDaniel is no longer coaching well.
Your rookie quarterback came off the NFL field for the first time. And he didn't say shit to him. Walk me through that.
So, I think here's the problem. I don't know what they're waiting for. You're going to do it anyway. There's no way they go into next season with them.
You can't.
So you might as well just fire him now. Don't wait. Get a head
Don't
start
let it get
on the process.
worse.
Get a head start
Don't
on
let
the
it
process.
get worse. It can get worse. It can.
Like, I understand you want continuity, but at the end of the day, you're going to fire them regardless. Get a head start on knowing you're looking for a head coach, a new staff, and a new GM.
Yeah. You want continuity of shit?
Please.
That's what you want? Like, my God.
Like, there are some teams.
It's train wreck.
There are some teams I understand. You're probably going to fire your head coach. You're probably going to get rid of your GM. And I understand maybe waiting till the end of the season. There are some. I think with rookie quarterbacks.
Right? There are teams, right, that you can look at and you go, it's not working. But there are good things to take away. Or there are things high draft picks will help us with. So there's no reason to overreact.
Or there's a reason to keep him around. I think the best one is, like, if you have a rookie quarterback, maybe don't fire his entire coaching staff midway through a season.
Yeah.
Just like, a thought.
Yeah.
But that would be the one thing I'd be like, all right, you're waiting, but you don't. So don't wait.
This one.
Just rip the Band-Aid.
And you've got players at the podium saying the first thought that comes to their mind.
What's that?
Like, did nobody talk to Tua after his last press conference? Before he took the podium again? I'm confused.
Yeah, just a whole
like, who keeps letting that man take the podium without a warm-up?
I have
and
a
then
question.
Mike McDonald takes the podium.
McDaniel.
And
wrong one.
McDaniel, my God.
There's too many. I can't help you.
Mike McDaniel takes the podium, and it sounds like he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Which is weird, because he makes all the decisions. Like,
when is there? I'm trying to find something. Okay.
Their bye week.
If they are not, granted, their bye week is late in the season, but if, the only logical explanation you have is you kind of want to wait until the bye week. That way, you give the interim a, week to put it all together.
Somebody needs to do something.
So if they're not fired after week 11, because their bye week is week 12, if they're not fired before or after that point, there's a serious problem.
I don't think that the owner is watching them play. That's what I think.
There are some owners that should probably stay out of it, and there are some that needs to get in it and get in it quick.
Right now. It was rough. It was rough. I'm confused. And it's like this is the team, right? Like last year it was the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, and all the things that could make us a terrible franchise we're just putting on display. And this year it's the Dolphins.
I think for the Dolphins' sake, there's only one team.
It's just crazy.
I think there's only one team in the NFL that's genuinely worse than them. And it's the Jets. I think we've seen decent stuff out of New Orleans. They're 1-6. They have the same record.
Yeah.
They've looked okay. They're not good, but they've shown fight. They've shown they cared.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing at least something out of them. Baltimore being 1-5, that's not who they are.
It's weird.
That's just not who they are.
Yeah.
And then Cleveland 2-5. I think they've been flat out better. Las Vegas has, maybe you have an argument, at 2-5. They haven't been very good, but I still think they're better.
I think they're a better run organization, which is crazy to say.
And then So I think the only team worse is the Jets. And really, I think we're going to find out how much worse the Jets are.
I think there are things positive to take away from the Jets right now.
and yet they're 0-7, so I can't say there is. That's really my
valid point, right? You know what I mean? Valid point.
like. I struggle to have an 0-7 team rank above anybody that has a win, just because like
fair.
You're that bad that you've lost every game you've played so far.
No, that's fair.
It's tough to.
It's valid.
Man, like I'm pretty sure the Dolphins beat the Jets.
I still think they just have an edge. I do,
and that's a possibly fair statement. We'll
they
find
will
out.
Play again this year.
They play twice,
so we'll see.
But yeah, they're the only win the Dolphins have is against the Jets. So I still think the Jets are worse.
That's valid.
But yeah, that's a whole.
It was rough. It was a rough fucking week. I went into the bye week excited. Dolphins had to fuck it up.
That's fair. That's fair. The fact you were relying on the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's just. I thought maybe we'd get one out of it. They were like, screw you. Any other games? Thoughts?
Not a game. I did have a thought recently that was really funny to think about.
Okay.
So, the Vikings sat there last year with Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, and Daniel Jones on their roster for quarterbacks. They decided to get rid of both Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones to pick J.J. McCarthy and eventually Carson Wentz. If you haven't known, the Vikings kind of suck right now because they have Carson Wentz as their quarterback. Daniel Jones has been really good with the Colts, and Darnold looks better than he did with the Vikings on the Seahawks. So it begs the question, what were you thinking when you decided that? When you made that choice? Just I'll put that out there.
I don't know. I think the thought, which is not a bad thought, was we drafted a rookie quarterback. At some point, he should be our starter. However, not unlike the take I had many, many months ago about being willing to trade head coaches.
You have to realize.
I think we get too attached to decisions that we make. You drafted a rookie quarterback.
In the first round.
He got hurt. Still has extreme trade value. I'm a little confused why it didn't potentially cross our mind to either trade him or sit him for another year behind Darnold.
Because that's like my one thing, is I think this Vikings team is just missing a quarterback.
Yes, otherwise, they're really 100%.
Good. But when you have 100%. To pick between Carson Wentz and J.J. McCarthy, now granted McCarthy's been hurt the past couple of weeks, that's why they've been going with Wentz, but I also think that injury isn't as bad as the Vikings.
I'm not convinced.
It's a whole thing, but that was just my thought, is I realized that they had both of them on their roster last year, and it just made me laugh a little bit.
Yeah, I understand not picking Daniel Jones, right? I do.
No,
you don't really know what you have there.
No, I get that.
The Colts,
that.
I think the Colts kind of thought Richardson might beat him out for that job. I'm gonna be honest.
And they really
they thought that was potential.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not entirely sure how much of the Colts' success right now is. I think Daniel Jones is playing fine. I don't think he's doing anything spectacular. I don't think he's also doing.
He has a great
detrimental
roster, and I think he's been a great game manager, and we've talked about. I don't think that's a knock on a quarterback.
And seriously,
it's just what he's been.
Jonathan Taylor's been just insane this season.
Yeah,
at running back, when he's that good, I'm like, I will give Jones credit. He's not doing anything that's causing his team to lose.
Yeah,
and that's an important thing.
I mean, hell, they'd be doing better if we didn't have people keep dropping balls in the end zone. So,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
They would be
right?
undefeated had the guy just walked into the end zone.
But I am very confused by the Darnold decision.
I'm
I'm confused on where they go from here when he is healthy.
My confusion really is we decided to trust a rookie that was hurt his first year and we've never seen play in the NFL over a guy that just won us 14 games. That's my confusion there.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then also, you just also happen to have probably one of the best quarterbacks in football right now in your practice squad, and you got rid of him too. Now, again, I think that is very much Monday morning quarterbacking it. Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would have predicted that he would have been good. So, I can't fault you for that one very much.
I can't fault you for Daniel Jones. I can fault you for
Darnold.
Yeah. So it's definitely weird. This whole season has been riddled, I think, with questionable decisions.
Man, there were teams I thought were going to be really good this year that I thought made some good moves, hired the right people, brought in a good quarterback, did all these things, and then just isn't working.
It's been a train wreck.
There are teams that I expected to be elite, looking for the Super Bowl, and are 1-5. Not going to name many names.
No, I mean, there's no need to do that. And then there are teams that I thought would be a complete disaster. And they look good, or they at least look like they are headed in the right direction. I think the Giants, I thought were going to be a complete disaster. And while they are 1-5, or 2-4, it's one of those. They're clearly headed in the right direction. I think they have their franchise quarterback. But it's been one of the most, I think, unpredictable seasons in the NFL in a long time.
Yeah, well, again, as I said earlier, the NFC, in order to make the playoffs right now in the NFC, you pretty much need to have 5 wins. The only exception is Green Bay, and it's just because Green Bay has already had their bye, and they have the tie. They have 4 wins, 1 loss, and a tie. And they're winning their division because of weird things. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. In order to be in the playoffs, you have to have pretty much 5 wins. The NFC West, 3 teams in the NFC West have 5 wins. On the AFC side, there are good. I think there's a very clear division leader amongst everybody.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is just. I wouldn't be surprised if it got flipped on its head tomorrow for most of it.
If the division leaders and winners are not the same ones we have at the end of the year.
Yeah.
The only one, I think in the AFC, the only team I am confident currently is going to win their division is the Colts.
Yeah, and to say that out loud is
insane.
Bananas.
I'm not saying that the Bills are in that much trouble, right? I'm not saying that. I could see it being a dogfight at the end.
But, I could see New England just being able to... Because, truthfully, New England has the easier schedule. Somebody posted it. New England's schedule is a fucking cakewalk from here on out.
Yeah, especially the way they're playing.
So it's
Now, the Bills have a relatively easy schedule, but they're not playing very well against winning teams.
But they also have a first-place team schedule. The Patriots have a fourth-place team.
Still wasn't that hard.
I'm not saying I'm just telling,
Yeah.
comparatively speaking, the
So,
Bills' schedule is still harder.
Is still um. So I wouldn't be shocked
So
if the only one that would genuinely surprise me right now is the Colts. I expect the Colts to win their division
to walk away
because the Texans clearly just
Tennessee's
not
a factor.
Start over. Tennessee
Tennessee's
just fired their head coach.
Tennessee's
They're not
1-6,
win.
not a factor. Houston, so many problems. Jacksonville,
Yeah.
I think they have their own problems, and I think we've seen that the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think they will have a winning record. I do not think they will compete for winning their division.
Yeah. I will say this is probably one of the most fun seasons we're going to have in football.
Yeah.
In a while.
I like that it's different. I like that some of these teams are getting better.
And that
the divisions are getting more competitive.
I'm looking at every division, and most divisions, okay, like NFC West, there are 3 teams that could easily win the division. Like the Cardinals are the only one out of it. NFC South,
Yeah.
I think every team is in it in the NFC South except for New Orleans. NFC North, shit. It would take Minnesota kind of spinning their season around, but they're 3-3. The top of their division is 5-2, 4-1-1.
Yeah,
they can still challenge. NFC East, the Cowboys. I don't know. That division's tough. I think the Eagles kind of have that one on lock. AFC West, the Chargers are 4-3, the Chiefs are 4-3, and the Broncos are 5-2. One game different.
Yeah.
We talked about the AFC South with the Colts. I think they have a 2-game lead. I think they're pretty safe. AFC North, we've talked about how none of these teams look good, and if any of them gets hot at the right time, completely changes that division.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at. And then AFC East, only 2 of them I think can challenge, and it's New England and Buffalo. Miami ain't gonna do shit, and the Jets ain't gonna do shit. So it's gonna become New England or Buffalo for that one. But otherwise, I think every division has at least a fight happening between 2 teams, and a lot of them are between 3. So I think this year is going to be really interesting to see down the stretch who can kind of pull away from the competition.
Alrighty. Well, if that does it for us for this week, then we will look ahead.
Yeah.
Starting with the Ravens, we are going to do a little cleanup news. I am hoping to put out a preview video, so we will get into a little bit more of this. But just to make sure, for Ravens fans, we do get some Ravens talk into the episode. Ravens come off of the bye, obviously still 1-5, 4th in the division. They play the Bears in Chicago at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Got some really good news injury-wise today. The Lamar is back at practice. He was limited, but that does not surprise me. So
he's at least practicing.
Yeah. So was Hamilton. But they were both out there on the field. Patrick Ricard was a full participant. Zay Flowers, full participant. Devontae Welker, Ronnie Stanley, Roquan Smith, Chidobe Awuzie, all full participants. The only person that wasn't on the field as a starter was Marlon Humphrey, but he did not have an injury designation. He had an illness. This is our moment! If it can be done, it starts now.
It has to start now.
If it can be done, These people are vital to that. The Bears have a good team, good defense, great pass rush. If they can win this game, it is looking up. Great news. It's so good news. I squealed. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. The Ravens put out a video. They put out a hype video of Lamar taking the practice field today.
God.
Because they know we need it back. Other news out of Baltimore. They took all of their games and their video games out of the locker room. I could give a fuck. I could give a fuck. I do not think that's the problem. I do not think culture has ever been the problem. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think this team's not locked in. I don't think that.
I would say that does make me a little nervous that that's what they think is the problem.
I don't love that. But we want to get refocused. We want to get dialed in. Fine. I know this team went from dead last to top 5 in defense last year. I know this team has the potential to have the number 1 offense in the NFL. This is the time. I did hear an interesting quote. You're not the biggest fan of him, but Emmanuel Ocho said the Ravens abandoned their identity for the sake of Lamar. And what he said was, the Ravens have always stood on defense. But when they got Lamar, they focused more on offense. I agree with that to a point. They have funneled a lot of resources into the offense. However, up until about a year and a half ago, this team still had a phenomenal defense. So I think that culture is still there. I think that identity is still there. I do think they're struggling right now. I do think changes needed to be made. I am hoping we have made them. We've had the conversations we need to have. We've made the trade that we made, getting another safety in, another cornerback in. I'm hoping we're going to do a little better with who we call up and what our player percentage is going into each game. Hoping we've kind of gotten our heads out of our asses when it comes to the offense. Because I'm confused about the man who doesn't utilize a fullback, doesn't know how to scheme an offense without him. I'm a little confused by that. Right. It's not making much sense to me. But this is the moment. It has to be the moment. They're back. The players are back. I'm not going to say the Ravens are back until we play this game.
We will see.
I will say, they could lose this game, and I still have hope. Not a lot, but it's there. But we need the win.
That would be a struggle.
Need the win. So, they already have to pretty much go undefeated the rest of the season. Starts now. I'm calling it a new season, new time. People are healthy. Keep it that way. Ravens, please do not tell me the Icy Hot Bowl is what the competition for my division is going to look like. I watched that game. That can't be it. It can't be.
We will see.
I will cry. I will cry.
Definitely gotta figure their shit out.
I think it's all there. It really is. It should be. should be. Let's just go out and do it.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm gonna pick 2 games of the week, like Dallas did, because the Seahawks are going into their bye this week. So no preview video for me. You didn't get one for the Houston game because I was sick all weekend. Couldn't record one. Don't think you wanted to hear me coughing or my voice going. So didn't do one. Apologies.
I've heard it for years, people. You don't.
So yeah. Apologies for that. But you're also not getting one this week because there's not one to do. For my first game of the week, I will be taking the. There's not very many good ones.
No.
I'm gonna take Dallas and Denver. The Cowboys are playing the Broncos in Denver. That game was 1:25 Pacific, 4:25 Eastern. I think it's going to be a decent game. I'm more watching this from the perspective of, did the Giants game kind of spark the Broncos back into existence in terms of what we think they should be? And this Dallas offense is really good, but I don't like their defense. So I'm just curious on when they go up against a actually, in my opinion, elite defense, how this all looks. So that's my first one.
Fair enough. My game of the week is going to be San Francisco 49ers at the Houston Texans. I have not watched either of these teams yet, at least not as a standalone game that I've discussed. I know Brendan talks the 49ers quite a bit. I want to see it. The best matchup, I think, so far this week. It's pretty uneven, right? It's pretty uneven. I think Packers-Steelers has the potential to be really good. But I'm really just hoping the Steelers lose. I think that's pretty much the end of that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go 49ers at Houston.
Fair. For my other game.
Oh God.
There are a lot of choices, and none of them are good. I will say, if Bryce Young was playing, I think I would instantly pick Buffalo and Carolina. That would be my.
If he was playing, yes. Because he's not.
With Andy Dalton at quarterback, I don't care.
That's valid.
You mentioned the Packers and the Steelers. The problem is, I've already watched both of those teams.
Yep.
The other one I was looking at, Chiefs Commanders. I've already watched both of those teams.
Both of those.
So,
yeah.
The game I'm picking is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the New York Jets.
That's crazy.
And I have one very logical reason about this.
Okay.
We are nearing the trade deadline. I'm purely watching the Jets to see who could be possibly, because I think the Jets will be sellers at the deadline. I'm just watching the Jets to see who I think could be a possible trade acquisition for the Seahawks.
Fair enough.
That is it. The Bengals could also possibly sell. I doubt it, but there is potential. That is just the mindset I'm going to go into this game with. I know it's not going to be good.
No, that's fair.
But there's really nothing else available. I almost considered watching Atlanta, Miami for the same reason. I just think the Jets are in a better position to sell than the Dolphins are.
Valid. Very valid.
I care more about who the Jets have.
For those curious, on bye this week, Arizona Cardinals, Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Rams, and the Seattle Seahawks. So, 6 teams on bye, 3 games. It's a little limited this week. We're picking with what we got.
Yeah.
Also, Brendan and I are making a concerted effort to watch every team.
Yeah, and I know for a fact I have not watched the Jets this year.
And I know I haven't watched Steelers, or not, no, fucking
And
Christ.
I don't think I've actually watched Denver by themselves.
49ers,
100%
Texans.
sure.
Also, side thing, spoke earlier, the Ravens are at home next week, so I do apologize for that.
That's important.
I thought they were in Chicago. They are in Baltimore. I find that very important.
It is very important.
Hopefully, Flock Nation will show up. I know, I get it, right? I get it. But let's help them out. Let's go into Baltimore. Let's be loud. It's really easy to fluster Caleb Williams. Let's just try.
That's a fair assessment. That's just fair. I got nothing else.
All right, well, any random sports?
No. It's been hockey is dominating my sports consumption.
Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of a problem.
Hockey. I didn't realize how much I missed hockey. I'm gonna be honest. Every year I know I miss it. You know what I mean?
And then it's back
but
on.
Like I feel like this year I'm like hockey's like, what was it the other night?
I'm watching. Man.
The Avs were not playing. I bounced between like 3 games. I was like, it's just hockey. Who cares?
I
was just very excited.
They're doing the thing again, like the Frozen Frenzy, where they are
doing
like
so much fun.
Where they do like every team plays on the same day.
Yeah.
And then they have it like set up like a red zone. Chef's kiss. So excited.
It's great. So excited. So excited.
I also think I saw something new, and I don't know if they did it last year. It's called NHL Power Play. And it also seems like it's a red zone type thing where they just show you, like they have a marquee game, and then they show you like if like one game is getting interesting. So like, I think the best example is if a team's on a power play, they show that game while that's going on, and they'll show goals and stuff like that. I think I saw that. I think that's what they're doing, and I think that was last year, but I cannot remember.
Don't remember.
So I'm gonna try giving that a look this week. And see if I can't find that. Cause
very exciting. Yeah, I'm loving having hockey back.
That's how I want to consume hockey right now. So I just want.
That's fair.
I just want all of it.
I just want all the hockey at all times. Just let's do that.
Pretty consistent. So that was it for my random sports stuff. I assume you didn't have anything?
I did not.
Yeah, when hockey's
a lot of hockey.
When
I forgot basketball was on. I didn't realize that was starting. I was like, ooh, hockey. And then I'm like, basketball's getting ready to start.
Yep. It started.
It was yesterday. I was like, I watched 3 hockey games that did not include the Avs. Had no idea.
Awesome. God. Hockey's.
Like, hockey.
This is what happens when we get to this time of year. Random sports
it's
disappear.
Too much. No. Now, it will... Well, that's next year. Never mind. This is later.
Okay.
When is the Olympics? Yeah, that's next year, 26. Yeah, later. So...
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Winter
26.
Olympics is this year.
Is it? See, that's why I'm like, is it 26 or?
Because the NHL, I think it might be the beginning of 26. Because the NHL is allowing players to play in it, and I know that was a big deal this year for this season.
So it begins February.
Okay, so it is 2026.
So that's why I'm like, it's close. Like the Olympics, the random sports will come back. We'll talk a lot of curling. It's great fun. Great fun. If you don't watch curling, you should. You really should.
What else? Bobsledding?
Bobsledding's a lot of fun. We
Hockey.
like all of the skiing.
Yeah.
So
I just like the Olympics. Simple as. All right.
Yeah. But for right now, pretty focused. I'm gonna try and add basketball to the mix. Honestly, basketball's probably gonna wait until baseball's over. Gonna be honest.
We'll see.
Like,
I'll probably watch
because I am gonna try and watch the World Series. I'm gonna dive back in. I'm gonna do it.
All right, holding you to that. Well, if that's our random sports news, then I think that does it for us this week. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, let us know really anything sports related. Who's your pick for the World Series? Blue Jays or Dodgers? How you feel your team's doing in the NFL? Anything else? Just pop it down in the comments.
Hang on.
Let us know. Yeah, with all that being said, I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
Thank you.